Hello there and welcome to the Outside Film Podcast, where we talk film, TV, games and all that jazz like there is no tomorrow. This week we're talking about the first 4 Uncharted games in preparation for the movie. God damn it. My name is Thomas and I'm joined with my co-host John.
Well, listen, we're talking about one of the best gaming franchise, Uncharted. Like,
100%.
It's only on PlayStation, and I only discovered it in 2016 through a YouTuber called Thatcher Joe.
Yeah, we both did. He did a walkthrough of Thieves Uncharted 4, and we watched it. I remember. So as I say, we're going to talk about the first 4 games, telling the story of Nathan Drake. Obviously, that's what the film's based on. So sorry, Lost Legacy, but not today, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
But I've never played any apart from 4 all the way through. You know, I'd done snippets at friends' houses and stuff. But I always thought this is an Indiana Jones kind of Tomb Raider ripoff. But I was completely wrong. Having gone through them all, it really carves its identity, and obviously it does share elements, but it's got a lot to like. Shall we got 4 to get through, and I have tons of notes. Should we just get started with the first game, 2007's Drake's Fortune?
Yes, let's go back to it. This one is my least favorite. It was a bit rough to play. The mechanics that I played on PlayStation, and the mechanics were so bad. Like, I couldn't understand the controls, like, because I played on the 4th game and then onto the new game. I was like, okay, that's different, that's fine. And I was playing through, and it was so uncomfortable to play. Like, the pacing was weird, but it did have like an entire storyline that I really liked. It had a really good introduction to Nathan Drake and finding the lost city of gold, El Dorado. Yes. And this like felt like a proper start to it. But the proper start to it is like later on in the series, which is the second one. Oh, God, yeah. Talk about that.
Well, I definitely agree with you. It's early days for the gameplay and various elements aren't perfect. I felt, like you don't really interact with your environment. It feels like, unless it's the bit that you're actually supposed to like climb over, it feels a bit janky. And the combat mechanics with aiming and, hand-to-hand combat could have had a bit more play. You definitely get more of that in the sequels. But I definitely agree with you. And pacing-wise, I feel like the beginning of it definitely strikes, a pretty good balance between, the action and the exploration, but as it goes along it loses this balance, and I think it just becomes way too action heavy at times, and it isn't not enjoyable, but sometimes I just want to sit back and do a bit of exploring, and I feel like the other games are so much better at striking this balance. Even simple things like a little break in action or changing the music, something melancholic, it could go a long way in exploring things like, oh yeah, spoilers for everything right now, but Sully's fake out death. Like, early in the game you think that Sully's dead. Obviously he's not, but it doesn't really give you much time to sit with that, to feel those emotions. No. Whereas I feel like in the other games, there are great sequences where you really feel, and they change the music. And especially in 4, we'll come back to that. You get those moments where, the emotions and the relationships in the characters are really given time to shine.
Yeah. And going back to the pace of the game, once you like explore the submarine, going through, that was like one of the bits that I can remember from the first game. Like, it was so scary, like going through the ship, like the music, and Nathan Drake just like wandering through, and then I can't remember, but he finds a note and a dead body in the thing about the lost city. It was like, oh, that's really good for this. And then out of nowhere, Sully just gets his fake out death and killed by, I don't know who it was, because I can't even remember much of the game.
The villains. No, I agree. I think it's interesting. This game has a lot of horror elements, and the other games don't really have that.
Yes.
I think all of them go into a bit mystical. I guess apart from 4, the first
4, which I really like.
Yeah, I 100% agree. But I think the others, they all go into something pretty mystical. But I feel like Drake's Fortune is the one where it's the scariest. But yeah, you speak about the villains. They're extremely Indiana Jones. They're after a treasure that is ultimately their downfall. And I like the way they died, but we don't get to know them or loathe them in the way we would in the indie films or even in the other Uncharted games. The final boss fight is barely a boss fight. You just kind of kill a load of goons up on a boat, and then that's it. You got to like explode a barrel. And
explode a barrel.
I know what they're going for, but in terms of gameplay and the satisfactory ending, it doesn't really hit it for me.
The most memorable thing about the game was, I don't know what quote it was. It was like it was Sir Francis Drake, wasn't it? The quote, I think. There's a quote in each game opening.
Oh, right. Yes, of course.
But I don't know which one the first one is. But And then it opens up with Elena and Nathan Drake finding. Well, it's where they find the diary.
Is it maybe there must be a beginning of any great matter, but the continuing until the end, until it be thoroughly finished, yields the true glory? Is that the quote?
Yeah, I think that's
Maybe?
the quote.
Yeah,
That's the quote. And then they
sure.
find the, I don't know. They find the body, not the body.
The coffin.
Like, there's a coffin. That was the word, right? The coffin of Sir Francis Drake, and they find the diary. Now, that diary is the most important diary in the entire game series.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I like that. That's the catalyst of it, because that's important for Drake's deception.
Yes, the whole especially in the first two games, they definitely build this relationship that Nate feels he has with Sir Francis Drake. And I definitely feel like the best part of this game are the characters that they build. You know, the voice acting is excellent. You know, Nolan North as Nathan Drake is really, really strong, and he carries the franchise so well as the main guy. Obviously, you know, Sully and Elena as well are really good as like the side protagonists. They're so good. And I love, you know, that Drake is perfectly kind of intrigued by the adventure, and he's charming, he's got good chemistry with his friends, and he always feels out of his depth. He doesn't never feel like he's got control of any situation. He's always just getting through on the skin of his teeth. But I have to say that, like, it's a critique that I've heard been thrown around before. But he's so like jovial, but he's just extremely merciless. And he spends the whole game just killing without any remorse the whole way through. And then he'll be like, oh, I can't have Elena's death on my conscience. Like, as if it mattered throughout the whole game. like, come on. Like, he doesn't have the most sturdy characterization here, but it becomes better later on, I think.
Yeah. That's a bit weird part of the game, is that he's a very nice guy, Nathan Drake.
100%.
He just like exploring through, he touches something and it just explodes and the whole thing just goes down. This is actually a problem in the games. Like, you see the characters kill people and then they don't have like some of their remorse, like, no, that person died, I need to see that.
Yeah, they must kill hundreds of people, maybe even thousands across the range of the game. I'm referring to
Red Dead Redemption 2 here. Like, that game, you mercilessly kill everyone.
Yeah, right? But that's the point of that game. You know, at the end of the game, spoilers for Red Dead Redemption 2, amazing game, by the way, you get the choice at the end of the game, depending on how you've played the game, whether you've done a lot of like the side quests where you're supposed to help people out. Arthur says at the end of the game, you know, I tried to be a good person, or you just prove that you are just like a merciless cowboy. And I think that you don't really get that in Uncharted. You just kind of, you have no choice other than to just mow through like hundreds of goons. And in this one, zombies as well. I guess zombies are the best word to call them. You just kill them all.
Yeah, zombies. I kind of remember that bit.
Yeah, Nazis.
All I remember was just like Nathan Drake just shooting all the way through this game, because it was a bit hard to do the shooting, actually.
I mean, the locations, graphics, they're pretty solid for 2007.
Solid,
especially if you play the remastered versions, you get, you know, obviously better graphics, but you get a good range of rivers and caves, old structures, forests. You know, they're really well brought to life, if not a bit repetitive. But yeah, I don't really have much else to say other than it's difficult to rate a video game because, you know, I still had fun, but I think I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm going to go on the same. 6 out of 10. Like, this is a really rough start to the franchise. But moving on to Uncharted 2. Now, this,
Among Thieves.
I talked about this game all the time.
Yeah, we talked about it as early as episode 4 of the podcast, where we did our favorite video games. I'm pretty sure you mentioned Uncharted 2 and 4.
Yes, I did. And so good, these games. And I need to think about Uncharted 3, because that is also a great game. Yeah. Uncharted 4, another great game. Anyway, Uncharted 2. Now, this is where it really picks it up. I know they've been through with Uncharted 1, like how we can make it better. Now they're going to Shambhala. They're going to like all different places around the world that can greatly make the tensions arise with this villain of the story and their relationship between Nathan and Elena. This is like pure Uncharted right here. And there's some really sad moments in the game when the cameraman guy, I forgot his name.
Yes.
Yeah, when he died.
The saddest moment of unnamed character.
Dang.
Yeah, no, I think immediately, like the opening is so good. You know, it sends you straight into the action, hanging off a train, hanging off the side of a cliff. So, it balances the past and the present perfectly. You go back to the setup of the action and it takes you straight back. It allows you as a player to ease yourself back into the gameplay while also giving you what you love about the franchise immediately. You're scaling this train as it's falling. It's so, nail-bitingly amazing. And I think compared to the first game, so much more happens. And it really diversifies the gameplay. Immediately, you've got better melee combat and smoother dynamics, and it makes the whole experience feel much more immersive and smooth.
Yeah, and this has really big set pieces. Like the set
Yes.
pieces go onto another scale throughout the games. Like 2 is like the starting set pieces, but they're mad. What Drake goes through in that one, 3, that's massive. 3 has that one, and then 4. We'll talk about the set pieces. In 2, you get to see like how crazy Nathan Drake is. Like he goes through trying to find a piece of treasure, but also thinking about his loved ones. Like that is a really different, like the dynamic between Elena and Nathan. Like, he's trying to find the sea. And this is the really good introduction of another character. I forgot her name.
Chloe.
There we go. Chloe. I forgot. I can't believe I forgot about Chloe. But Chloe, yeah, she is fantastic in this game. Like it really helps to, show that, I mean, throughout the games that she's just like a double cross, like just like, aha, no, well, I am working for this guy. No, I am.
Well, isn't she's who Uncharted Lost Legacy is following? It's her and Nadine from the 4th game. But I have to agree with you about the set pieces. So much better. The campaign takes on more globe-trotting and different arenas and biomes to explore and fight in. It's so much better than Drake's Fortune. But I think, the settings are used so well. Like when you're escaping a collapsing building, which is simultaneously being attacked by a helicopter, you're, as I say, scaling a train hanging off the side of a cliff as it falls further down, or like all the times you get to run across rooftops. It takes everything to the next level. And I think that is great. We've talked about great video game sequels in the past with Arkham City, for example, and this is the action adventure equivalent of that. We get all of this, but it never sacrifices the cave exploring and jungle expeditions, which made Drake's Fortune so much fun. And I think retaining the core of the franchise while moving forward is exactly what I want to see and what makes this game so much better than the first one.
Yeah, and don't forget the bit where Nathan Drake gets chased by a tank in...
Yes.
Oh my god. He's like, RPG. He's trying to find it. Yeah. But going back to characters, like the character relationships are like so good. Their relationship between Nathan and Sully, yeah, they're great. And it really shows their relationship. And I really like that they explored it in 3. So that one's good.
Yes. I agree. I think the emotional core of all these games is the relationship between Nate and Elena. And I think the real ending of this game I wouldn't say it's not the fight with Lazarevich. It's Nate realizing he still has feelings for Elena and that he wants to make things right between them. It was a really, really good ending with Nate reaffirming to himself that he can still be the good guy. He can still save the world and get the girl. It's simple, but it's effective. I'm not the hugest fan of Harry Flynn, who is the kind of like
that guy, Flynn.
One of the villains. He's just similar to Chloe, just portraying left, right, and center, and that's all he's really good for. I don't really believe the relationship Nate has with him, and he's just a stereotype of the betraying best friend. But they're all stereotypes, really, all the characters. I like how Harry is killed by Lazarevich towards the end. But again, it's about Nate and Elena. That's what it's all about, and the fact that it ends with those guys thinking, oh, maybe we can make this work. Maybe it can be okay. And it's a struggle that they go through in every game. But I think that they always take it to new horizons and it never becomes repetitive.
No, the soundtrack. Oh, when you, okay, so on a PlayStation, like when you set it up for the Uncharted remastered games, you go on and then you get to the menu. Drake's themes comes on. It's like, I forgot how the melody went, but it was like something like that. Yeah, everyone, it's me, the guy who knows the music.
Famous composer.
Who's the composer?
I don't even know for this game.
I know who the composer is for 4, and that's Henry Jackman.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. We'll talk about that.
The masterpiece of the soundtrack for it.
So good.
But everything's greatly improved.
Definitely.
Too. Again, with set pieces, characters, but some of the characters are a bit, rubbish, as you said, like with Flynn. Yeah, Flynn was annoying throughout the game. Just like, aha, I'm British. You You try to get me, you stupid man. You
Yeah, we've got a classic British villain as well.
wow.
Great, just what I wanted.
And we do get like some puzzles that are really good throughout the game.
Yes.
You're going to like trying to steal the ruby like at the beginning. Yes, and then like
Something
trying to
like
get
that.
to, and that was really cool, that bit, like going through the series, going through the palace, trying to find it.
Yeah.
That was really cool. I really
mean,
like it.
like it obviously I criticized Drake's Fortune. It's imbalance when it comes to balancing the action and exploration, but this gets it so much better. As you say, all the different puzzles are like the best parts, and it's why I love stuff like Jedi Fallen Order. It's exploring temples and encountering traps and puzzles, and you have to solve them, and it's really fun. And it elevates the game above the predecessor, and you get so many of them throughout the thing, and you have to use you got to use the journal, and it's not just simple. You got to use your own logic, and I think that's so good. And as you say, it's great to have bonus stealth missions, and although they might feel a bit easier each time, I guess it depends what difficulty you're playing at. It's still like a really good way to do it. But what I love is that, we say Nathan Drake is really soulless, and he kills everyone.
Yeah.
At one point he's like I'm not gonna kill these guards, and I'm like, wait, why? You don't have any problem with killing anyone else. Like, he's so shallow, but like it's also why he's so great, because he would kill anyone, but then he's so hurt every time he's betrayed. He's like, how could you betray me? And it's like, well, you just killed loads of people, so maybe you should kind of sever those connections. But that's what's so good about him. He's optimistic, but he also has that chip in his shoulder, gives him some edge. And I think they use this soulless nature of his character that inherently comes with the gameplay to their advantage at the end. I love that Nate chooses not to kill Lazarevich, and instead Lazarevich brings up how many men Nate killed, and he's like, you just killed everyone, kill me. And Nate's like, no, Nate proved that he's not like the villains. And we kind of get a final boss fight. It's more than Drake's Fortune can say, but it's very basic cat and mouse. Like, I would have preferred something like Mr. Freeze in Arkham City, where you can't use the same attack twice and have to be smarter about your moves. But in this, you can just run in a circle and shoot exploding sap.
And then you like get the gun. For me, when I was fighting Lazarevich at the end, like, where's the gun? Where's the gun? And you just hit around, like, it was so scary. Like, okay, like the boss fight was okay. Like at the end, you had to shoot this guy, but honestly, you had to find the gun. Like you have to run around, and you're like, oh
yes,
no, run! Oh no, run! And you're like trying to do it all the way, and it was like so similar to the one in Uncharted 4. You get chased by a truck in 4.
Yes, you do. Oh my god, yeah, of course. But yeah, no, it's just it is pretty scary. I'll give you that.
Yeah,
Lazarevich is a much better villain than whoever it was in the first game. Who was it in the first game?
I don't know. It was like some he was like a friend of Sully, I think.
Yes,
that's why I remember.
I'm gonna Google it. Uncharted 1 villain.
Yeah.
Navarro.
Who?
Navarro, South American archaeologist.
Oh, an archaeologist.
Sure.
Really?
Oh, really? I remember this guy, and then Gabriel Roman as well.
Right, show me the picture. Does he have an eye patch?
No.
Oh.
Who has an eye patch?
I don't know.
No, he looks like Harry Flynn with a beard, basically. But yeah, I guess it goes.
Him.
This guy. I'll send you a picture. It goes to show, what we're saying. It proves our point. Very, very unmemorable villain in the first one. This guy.
I don't remember him.
No, he's not. He really doesn't do anything. It's not that special.
Oh. Anyway, but Lazarevich, he's a scary guy. When you first meet him in what was the city where Chloe and Nathan go? And then
I know the one that's like all war torn, and that's where Elena is filming.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
On Lazarevich. Yes. And I love how it like slowly builds up to like connecting the dots between Lazarevich and the things that are happening in that city as well. I don't know, like he's a warmonger. Yeah, he's a warmonger, Lazarevich. In that city, the city part was like really cool, like with set pieces, like where the bit where Nathan and Chloe are fighting in the building, and then the building like slowly collapses onto another building. You're like, what the heck just happened? And you get chased by a helicopter. But yeah, there's some really good moments.
Yeah, I think the way that we kind of first properly encounter Lazarevich, he's like this, this really intimidating force, and you totally believe that he would just kill anyone who would get in his way. And I feel like that gives him a lot of edge. But still, in terms of the franchise's villains, I think they kind of get better. But yeah, what do you what do you think you can give this game out of 10?
10. Sorry, I have to
Ooh,
go through all
I'm
of
gonna
it.
go 9. Like really good. What a game. Like it's mad that the first game, like they stepped up so much. Like
Yeah,
it's so good.
it's one of the best gaming experiences that I really enjoyed with Uncharted 2. Like, oh,
Mm.
this is so good. Like, from 1 to 2, and like proper playing it on the remaster. Oh, so good. But yeah, we stepped it up. Now, Tom, what should we move on to?
Let's move on to. I'm trying to think of a joke. Wait. Let's move on to Kirby's Epic Yarn, the secret third game in the franchise.
Yeah, baby, Kirby Epic Yarn.
We're doing
Oh.
Uncharted 3. Well, let's not get you started. We're doing Uncharted 3, Drake's Deception.
I want to talk about the best mechanics in the game when you get like Kirby.
The listeners have come for Uncharted, and we're gonna give them. Okay, so Uncharted 3.
But then you get like all the coins and everything.
He's going on. Help! Somebody. Mostly this game it's more of the same.
The best characters, Kirby.
No. So this is a game that Nathan Drake has to find the lost treasure of Kirby. Oh shit! What?
Okay.
This game, to me, I think it's more of the same. I don't think the gameplay has improved a whole load, but I think the plot, apart from Uncharted 4, I think this might be my favorite plot of the 4 of them.
Oh.
We do explore different maps and locations, obviously, but this is the third game of the same format, and I kind of wish it mixed things up a little bit. It's like Arkham Origins. It was criticized for having similar gameplay to Arkham City. It didn't really advance anything enough, and I think Drake's Deception is similar, but similarly to Origins, the story is a banger, and I have to say, like, that is the bit to me that really, really stands out.
I wasn't expecting this kind of story when going through the whole entire franchise. You get to explore the relationship between Sully and Nathan, and that was like one of the best bits in the game. Like, you understand the past behind Nathan, like how he became this treasure hunter, and you'll see that in 4 as well. Backstory with called the Brothers Drake, yeah, that's it. And in the third one, with the story, he has to find, it was like a guy called Lawrence of Arabia who finds this place. I forgot what the name of the place was, but
yeah, no, I know what you mean. I did all these games within the space of a month, so they all kind of like meld into one. Obviously I've got my notes, but I don't think. Let's see. It's in the desert. What are they trying to find in?
Sorry. The one thing that I forgot to mention is that they actually done really good research on the history of like where the treasure might be in the games, like Marco Polo with the 400 ships, like being somewhere in Southeast Asia, I think, after the Mongolian War. Is it? Yeah, I think so.
I don't know, but I do like that they've put that effort in. It's Atlantis of the Sands is what it's called.
Oh, Atlantis of the Sands. Yes, I remember now. Atlantis of the Sands. Yeah.
I definitely think that the desert setting is the best way to progress this storyline. And I gotta say, the whole desert sequence is one that stands out for me so much. Not because of the gameplay, because it's not really that special, but it's just wandering about. It's trudging through the desert, and it puts you right into Nate's shoes, tired and bored and wanting to go on. It's so great because you're going in circles, being taunted by Marlowe, who's the villain, her voice. And it's such a clever sequence. It's one of the ways in which she shines as a villain. And I think the villains in this are the best so far. Nathan is just staggering through the desert, moaning for Sully. He's the only thing that he's on his mind. He's been kidnapped. When he collapses at everything lost, Sully is the thing he sees. Sully is the one to lift him up and inspire him to keep on going. It's a great moment that really amplifies their friendship and how much they mean to each other. I kind of wish that the action scene in the ghost town, Nate hasn't had any water for a couple of days. Like, how are you fighting people? Like, what? This man's superhuman. But they definitely focus on the relationship between Sully and Nate a lot more, and I really like that.
Yeah. When I played the desert sequence, it was like messing up my mind, just like playing it. I was like, am I playing the game or is the game ruining my life? I don't know. just like, with the whole desert sequence, like the bit where you have like I couldn't tell which one was a cutscene or the gameplay. Like I was standing still for 5 minutes, like, is this part of the gameplay? Is this part of the gameplay? And then once I
It's
moved my
all
controller, I was like,
part of the
I'm an
plan.
idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know what you mean. I definitely think that this is the most trippy game. Like, when you eventually get to Atlantis of the Sands and Nate washes his hair and he takes a drink of the water, and then immediately there's an eclipse and Sully gets shot. And I was like, what? They just killed Sully? What? Like, what? And then like you find out that, oh no, Nate was hallucinating the whole time. And throughout the game, there are all these hallucinations. And it's so trippy.
Yeah, that was crazy with the set pieces. Oh, yeah. So the film Uncharted is going to have one of the best set pieces from the Drake's
Yes.
Deception. The
Mm-hmm.
plane bit, the
Yeah.
whole plane. Let me tell you, the one that you're seeing on screen, like, or in the trailer, that's
Mm-hmm.
nothing. The whole bit when he is on the plane gets destroyed, like gets to shred, like from Drake punching that guard to like the whole plane just exploding, and then he goes through the air and then gets that crate and then just parachutes it, and the soundtrack
Yeah.
comes in like into score, like the score comes in like and like yeah.
No, it's
uh
an amazing sequence, and I think the standout sequences of this game are just the best so far, and like the best sequences that like they come when maps are literally exploding left, right, and center. Is that they got the train sequence in the last game, and they were like,
oh,
turn it up to 11. It's like you're escaping the castle, being shot by RPGs. There's a house burning down, as you say, climbing into a plane as it explodes. And my personal favorite, the sea chapters. You're on boats and you're taking down enemies, and then the boat is sinking, and it has so much electric energy, and it's great fun to play through. You've got to escape the boat whilst it's sinking. They're some of the
that
most fun and challenging in the series, and they're just cool. It's like Titanic, but guns.
just like Titanic but more cool.
Yeah, it's Titanic, but it's Die Hard.
Die Hard, yeah. That door, no, we don't need any doors apart from you, Jack and Rose. Well, Rose is going to take that space, but we're going to do it on the boat, and we're going to shoot our
Hell
way.
yeah. Honestly, like
Yeah,
we had some boat stuff in Drake's Fortune, but it didn't really do it. It
were
fell
they were
short.
obsessed. They
They
were
Yeah.
obsessed. But the one, is it a ship? Yeah, it's a ship. Like, with Drake like going through the ship and
Yeah.
showing his way out, and like one of the villains was on that ship, I think. Yeah, he was like, "Oh, I'm about to die, but I'm gonna take you with it." And he shoots like
Yeah.
a ceiling. Like, oh
Yes.
wow.
He shoots the glass and it all, oh, it's so good. It kind of sucks that this whole boat sequence, it's totally pointless to the plot. Nate gets kidnapped and he has to
Oh
save Sully. But Sully
no,
isn't
it
even
is.
there and all the pirates die. It's just kind of like a 1 or 2 hour detour. And while it's loads of fun, it's ultimately a side quest that it really detracts from the momentum of the campaign. Not to give another Fallen Order comparison, but it's like when Cal gets kidnapped by the Haxian Brood in that game. It's so much more fun than that, to be fair. But I feel like Uncharted doesn't include many side missions, if any. I don't know if it includes any side missions, but I feel like this should have had more plot or character relevance, maybe fitting in with the themes of the game. I don't know, but I feel like it was a bit of a waste, even though it's loads of fun.
Yeah, it's a shame I can't remember anything from the soundtrack. Like the soundtrack
No,
was
the soundtrack doesn't really stand out to me until 4.
4.
Mhm.
Yes, I'm gonna have a long discussion about 4 actually.
Oh yes. No, I've
Yeah.
got tons of notes about 4, probably most so far. But in terms of 3, the way this game advances Nate's relationships with all the characters is amazing. As I say, his friendship with Sully is a great driving force for him. But they also question this friendship and whether Sully is just using Nate, or vice versa. Sully himself feels tired with all the constant adventuring. And it's a really cool dynamic and interesting way to progress their friendship. And obviously, we got more from Nate and Elena as well. They come to a mutual understanding. Elena continuing to show she's a good person, despite not liking how Nate drags himself through the dirt so often. It kind of sucks they had to break up again in between games. We never get to see them as a couple until the
Yeah.
4th game. But I feel like this game gives us an interesting dynamic where both we as the player and Nate are unsure of where she stands. She's still wearing the engagement ring, but we don't really know, where she stands. And she still feels like Nate can't let go of this lifestyle, which is something we see in all the games.
Yeah, I really like they didn't forget events about from the second game. But the fourth game does like talk about the events, which is really good. It intertwines with the characters on an emotional scale. Like
Yeah.
2 was about Elena and Nathan, their relationship, and it's like the start of it.
Mhm.
And then you got 3 as the whole bit with Sully and Nate, like the history behind how they became treasure hunters.
Oh yeah, of course, the flashbacks.
Yeah, the flashbacks, and like how he got the ring as well. So
Yeah, stole it from a museum.
yeah, the museum bit. Yeah. And now this is going to be really hard for like the people who made and tried like already, I guess. How are they going to do with the set pieces and as well the characters? Like that's a really hard bit to do.
Yeah,
yeah.
you like, how long's the game? 6 hours, maybe?
6
Like
hours.
most games are about 6 hours, depending on how fast you play them. Maybe like, I think Uncharted
Speedrunners,
4
like,
is
yeah,
exactly.
Uncharted
4 is so much longer, but you know, how can you fit that into 2 hours or less than 2 hours? I don't know if it's possible.
Yeah, it's like how TV shows they flesh out the characters in the episodes and
Oh damn!
find out.
Imagine an Uncharted TV show. That'd be great. That'd be awesome. I'd love that.
Actually, that works.
Yeah, you need more time, and I feel like a TV show would be great, but too late now. Too late now.
Unless, right, if the film flops or something,
it will. It's got really bad reviews, but we're still watching it, John. We've made promises to the people. We're gonna keep our promises. And we're gonna watch that.
I hope they don't. I hope they won't ruin anything. But there's some cameos I heard in.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I know one, but I'm not gonna spoil it.
Nice.
What else? Yeah, 3 has the emotional stuff that I really liked, and the one that you really told me was in the Atlantis. Like they find this weird chest, I guess, like that's for like hallucinogens, I guess. I don't know. And the whole sea sinks. Yeah, yes. I remember that the whole sea just sinks and you have to like run away and like it's destroying itself. And then the one bit that Marlowe gets sunk into the sand and it's like, help me, you're Drake.
Nate's arc is amazing. Learning the ultimately he's got nothing to prove, and he leaves the ring and he tries to save Marlowe because he should, because of selflessness. And at the end of the day, he takes his marriage ring and he makes that commitment to Elena. I feel like this, in a way, like this really feels like the end of the Uncharted trilogy, and it's got a really strong arc for Nathan Drake over the 3 games. You know, like 4 very much feels like an epilogue, whereas these games kind of craft this very central story about Nate kind of trying to, you know, learning to kind of be able to let it go and to have a life. And obviously Uncharted 4 shows us that's not exactly there, but the ending is so cool. As you say, it's an extension of Among Thieves ending, like, you know, Nate and Sully escaping this city as it goes into a sinkhole, and you know, you don't get a full on villain fight, but it's pretty satisfying to beat up Talbot. My god, Talbot is a real stinker. I hated that guy.
Oh,
so annoying. He keeps on showing up and he's such a I hate him. He's so smug all the time. And I think that at the end of the day, even though Drake tries to save her, Marlowe's death is pretty satisfying. But yeah, I love this game, and I genuinely can't decide whether I like it more than 2 or not. What are you gonna give it out of 10?
9, actually.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't know. Like 2, 3, or 4, I couldn't tell you. Like, you hold a gun to my head, I could not tell you which is my favorite. Like, I think they're all so good, and that's so rare as well. Like, what game franchise can you say? Don't say Kirby, where all of them are that good. You know, the first one not so much, but like the second 3, amazing.
Yeah. Now Uncharted 4.
Wait, I thought. Wait, no, sorry. I thought it was. I thought it was Kirby again.
Anyway, King TDD in Kirby's Epic Yarn, like with that boss fight. Yeah, the boss fight is crazy. Like you have to get through.
Oh no! What have I done? Okay, Uncharted 4.
The coins. The coins.
Yeah,
the coin.
5 years. 5 years later, after Uncharted 3, there's an element of finality to this game. You know, it presents itself as early as the opening credits. I love the opening credits. You know, you see the best.
The opening credits? Yes.
Yeah, right?
And the
you
quote?
See
the quote.
I
am a man of fortune, and I must seek my fortune.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
Henry
that's
Avery.
It's perfect. You get to see in this opening sequence the best scenes, all the best sequences from the first 3 games. It kind of recaps what's become before and its importance. It's so cool, and obviously, you know, the music is great. It's a celebration of what came before and signaling this is the definitive ending for Nathan Drake.
Yeah, this time they really stepped it up, I think, with the set pieces.
Oh
Like,
yes.
they haven't, forgotten about Nathan's past, and it introduces new stuff in the game as well as with Elena and Drake's unknown brother throughout the game.
Yeah.
Hey, Nathan has a
Surprise.
brother.
Sam is really smartly used in the game. Everything feels so personal with him and provides Nate with unique emotional stakes. The relationship between the two of them as brothers, it feels really organic, and you can tell they love each other and have this bond that's as long as time. Troy Baker, who, you know, is a wonderful voice actor. He
Oh,
really came onto the scene
wonderful.
and did an excellent job. All this makes Sam's betrayal and the reveal that he was working with Nate and that Nate has left everything for no reason. It makes it all so much more heartbreaking. Sam is the opposite of Nate. He's a man who lies and cheats for selfish reasons to gain the treasure he obsesses over. He's everything that Nate has been in danger of becoming the whole time through all
Oh,
4
yeah.
games. And when given the chance, he can't let go of his greed and his desire to find the treasure, whereas Nate can finally let go. You know, Nate leaves everything, his life, Elena, for the sense of adventure and thrill that he's grasping onto. But what he finally learns in this game is to let go of the past. And what makes Nate a better person is that he goes back for Sam because there are things that he values more than riches and the people that he loves.
The relationship between the brothers, like, as you said, it's so organic, and throughout the game you have like much love. And the really cool thing is that the game itself really confuses you, like with Sam's backstory. Like, there's a whole section where Sam was in prison in Panama, and you get to escape from it with the drug lord, I think. Yeah, and the drug lord.
Yes.
Like, this is such a really convincing story, and you as the player, you're like, oh wow, okay, that sounds really familiar, with the past games. And then when it hits you with that plot twist, like, oh no, Sam just walked out of prison. I did that. So, and you're like, oh my god, it's Drake's deception. I'm kidding.
What?
Like, but the title is that's really self-explanatory. Like, A Thief's End. Nathan Drake is trying to live a quiet life, but he can't let go. Like,
Yeah.
the whole section with Nathan in the attic when he looks through the past,
Oh,
and
I love that.
with all the adventures like he goes through with the first one, El Dorado, Shambhala.
I love how we meet Nate in the present day. You get the whole prison sequence, and then immediately it juxtaposes that he's living the peaceful life, but as you say, he's not ready for it. Scene in the attic shows his inability to move on. He's still living his old worlds with adventures and exploring in his own mind. It's like James Bond on a Manchester Secret Service, seeing trinkets and photos from the previous games, giving Nate a chance to reminisce on what his life was and still could be. It sets up it wonderfully. And I think like the gameplay is perfection here. We have perfected it. We've peaked. All the elements of the last 2 games are great, but it's taken to the next level with the rope swinging and the driving and the swimming mechanics. It takes the 5 years of game progression that they've had loads of time to work on this, and they're like, boom, we're gonna take it to the next level.
Yeah, and story-wise, it's still amazing. Like, the story is just so emotional, and it's emotionally driven. It's really organic, with that whole relationship with Elena. Oh, and there's a really, really good bit when Elena and Nathan go through New Devon in the car, and they go drive through it, and the whole soundtrack. I don't know what song it was.
I do. It's For Better or Worse, which is Elena and Nate's theme, and it's fantastic, and it makes these emotional scenes between them so much deeper and more impactful. As you say, we have a chance in this game to just see them on their own, confronting the issues that have plagued their relationship for all the games so far. Elena doesn't hate Nate, but accepts who he is and who he wants to be. And at the end of the day, it's Nate who must choose to let go. And he does. He puts the thief to bed and ends his part of his life. The game is about Nate putting aside the thief and choosing to see other adventures in life. The adventure of having a family, to love, to laugh, to find the beauty in the world that doesn't come from lies, murder, and treasure. It's what the games have been about the whole time. And I really hope the films don't forget this emotional core.
Oh yeah, it was like a really good, like with the gameplay, and you can really feel the emotion, and as well with the backstories, the soundtrack when Nathan sees like he's Catholic school, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
And he sees like the blinking light of Sam, like at the end, with the score lure of the adventure, how the adventure lures you in. And that's so cool. Like he climbs to the rooftops and you understand like the whole story.
Yeah, it's weird this is the same in the third game, but young Nate looks like Tom Holland. Like, and obviously Tom Holland has been cast as Nate in the film, and it's strange. Was this the plan all along? No, Mark Wahlberg was going to play Nate, and then he aged out the role because it's been in development for so long. What do you think about Rafe? Because I thought, Rafe's a decent villain.
Yeah,
he's
like he's decent. Yeah,
none of the Uncharted villains are that memorable at the end of the day, but they do get better. And I'd say that Rafe is probably the best out of all of them. Someone who feels devalued, like he has nothing to his name, instead defined by his father's wealth, and is always playing second best to Nate. What makes him scary is his rage and willingness to not hold back. But just like Sam, his obsession over Avery's gold is his eventual demise. He's really in keeping with the rest of the villains of the series, and his closest connection to Nate's past with the prison and all that. It makes him just a little bit more memorable. And, just like Avery and Two, the pirates who obsessed over and killed each other over their treasure, Sam and Rafe were destined to die over their ambition. But Nate is there, and he's trying to show them a better path, resulting in Rafe attempting to kill him in what is literally a room full of burning treasures. Rafe, Sam, and even Nate's ambition come burning around them, but Nate has the sense to save the others instead of killing each other for ultimately worthless gold. Nate has proved himself, as Rafe describes, as a legend, but proved himself to be better than anyone else. And as he's learned that the treasure doesn't matter, and I just think that all of this is such an amazing arc. Again, this isn't just Indiana Jones, but you think about Indiana Jones. He doesn't really have an arc.
Yeah, he doesn't.
The only arc he has is maybe to get married, but he doesn't really have an arc, and that's fine. Indiana Jones films are excellent, but like Nate has a really strong arc in these 4 games, and it comes to a perfect conclusion here.
It does. Like, this is how you like perfectly end a character. That itself, finding treasure is their downfall with their desire is itself is poetic. Like Avery and Thomas 2 died. Like they killed each other with the obsession of having this treasure in this pirate utopia called Libertalia. It's a myth, but it's been in the books. That whole bit when Nathan and Sam get to Libertalia and that whole soundtrack, like you see the whole view, like of the town. Magical. And the other thing as well that the game that I really loved is that there's no mystical stuff.
It totally strips it down. It goes back to basics.
Yeah, which I really like. But the other games, it's great. They have their own mystical themes with like Shambhala and Atlantis, and it's the most realistic game. I mean, with the set pieces.
I mean, loosely. I mean, like, you think about probably one of the best sequences in the franchise, the car chase through the streets of Madagascar, which is wonderful. You go from car to rope to truck, back to car, and then motorbike. It's so cool. I mean, not realistic, but it's got so much energy.
I mean, like in terms of like with themes and like exploring.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like it manages to be so challenging. It doesn't last too long. Like, okay, sure, especially in this sequence, the rope stuff is essentially one big quick time event, but it's executed so well. It never made me bored, and it keeps you in the shoes of Nate. It's so amazing because it comes at a really emotionally distressing point just after the protagonists have learned that Rafe has been tracking them this whole time, and they've got to dash and leave. And then after the elation of the whole thing, it all comes crashing down when Elena is in Madagascar and she confronts Nate finally, and it's such a gut-wrenching scene because she's so hurt about how much he's lied to her. And the music in this scene, it's amazing. It really sells. It's one of the most emotional moments, as I said, with for better or worse, wonderful sound.
I want to get to the earlier bits with the set pieces with the bell tower sequence. He's trying to ring the bell, and then the whole bell just like destroys itself because Nathan touched it. And
Nathan's a bloody idiot.
Yeah, he just once he like destroys something, he just goes, I'm fine. Just like walks off it.
I was surprised that Sully was okay. Like
I'm okay, kid.
I would look up and get hit by a huge cog and just die. Like, dude, but I think this, the gameplay is great, but along with the music, it's got those emotional moments. The game takes a lot of time to stop and breathe, appreciating the graphics, which are beautiful, and giving you time to sit in those emotional moments. And that is exactly what I wanted in the first game. And we get it the most in this game. I think this game, it's a bit long. It's pretty long, but, it spends a lot of time driving about, but like it's really rewarding to get this time to sit with the characters who we felt, after all this time.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty long, but I don't care because it's just like the
It's
adventure.
fun.
Like that
Oh
you,
yeah, of course.
yeah.
I want like a 12-hour sequence where they're on a plane, just waiting, just like, oh, I'm so jet lagged, like eating like crappy airplane food. Like we need like an extended version where it's just you get to see all the different like scenes of them just like traveling. And they're just like so
And
tired.
there's other great set pieces that I want to talk about later on when Nathan and Sam go up to like this tower in Livitalia,
Yeah.
and then they get surprise attacked by Nadine's army.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they completely destroy that building, and then the building like falls onto the other side, and Nathan and Sam like they climb through this building, like they have to run across this building like as it collapsed. Oh, that's great. Love that bit.
Yeah. Every time there is something collapsing or falling in an Uncharted game, that's where the best sequences of the game of the games come from.
Well, one of the bit was the when in Madagascar they're traveling through with their jeep, and in the jeep the rope, and they get stuck by the rock, and they get like completely onto the cliff, and they fall down, but the rope is still attached to the tree. Like, oh my god, what the hell? And
yes.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, amazing.
And the one bit that it was pretty emotional when Nathan finds the treasure. Nothing mystical about it. It's there, like at the other end of the cave that you see with the ships, and it's like there.
Which also might be in the film. Like, there's a shot in a trailer of like the crashed ship.
Did the film mention who was in possession of the treasure? Like, you got Marco Polo or Henry Avery.
I haven't seen it, so I have no clue.
I don't know.
Don't think the trailers say that.
Yeah, I don't think, because I wish they did, but no.
Yeah, I hope that I wish that the trailers just showed the film, so I don't have to go to cinemas to watch it.
Yeah, the amount of detail into this game is
beautiful,
impeccable. Like, it's so good. Like the treasure. Fun fact: I thought this was whole fake. This whole Henry Avery character, I thought he wasn't real, but he is. He was he was like a real life pirate. And the treasure that you stole, $108 million, is still wasn't found. It's not found still. Wow. And I was like,
let's do it, John. This is no longer the Out of Time film podcast. This is the Out of Time exploration podcast. We're going to find the treasure. We're going to come back and we're going to, I don't know, we're going to kill each other for it. You had dreams about it.
I had dreams about like finding the treasure. And it was like, hell
John,
yeah.
John, that's how it starts. It starts with a dream. I got to say, just like to cover the ending of the game, it really is perfect. Epilogue. After everything, Nathan gets to live happy. He forges a fulfilling life with Elena. And that's what we see. We see him happy at the end of it. You know, he has his brother back, his wife. He finally feels fulfilled. And he manages to make a business and have a daughter. The final sequence, playing as Nate and Elena's daughter, is the perfect end. This is what they've got after everything. You know, it mirrors the opening as their daughter searches through all their trinkets, showing just how far they've come and what they've achieved. It's what they gave it all up for. And to quote Steve Rogers, it was beautiful. And I just think that why do we need to adapt? Like, you could genuinely make a really cool film out of these games, but you don't need to. You can't
perfect something that is already shown.
Exactly. These games are so good. I just think I think inevitably the Uncharted film won't even come close.
I really like it. You know, it was like a really sweet ending to like Nathan and Elena. And then, fun fact, throughout the game, you see this book that Nathan was trying to find in the past. And it was written by his mother.
Yes.
Now, you don't know what his mother's name was. And you do at the end when the book says Cassandra. And Cassandra is short for Cassie. So.
Oh, and that's his daughter's name.
Yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful. It's really cool. There's so much detail goes into these. Just amazing. So what are you gonna, out of 10, give me a score?
With the gameplay, with with the story and the emotional driven. I have to give it a 10 out of 10. I'm sorry, but it's
Brilliant.
just,
Do
yeah.
not
You?
apologize. Amazing. 9 again. I think
Oh my God.
incredible. Okay, I can't tell you the best one. I really can't. It could be 4, it could be 2, it could be 3. It's not 1, but
That,
like
a,
they're
a
really solid.
one? A one? What are
It's
you
not it's not
talking about?
1.
What?
It's not 1. All right, I'm sorry. The best one is Kirby's Epic Yarn. Okay, thank you for listening.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the best. These games, man. I don't know why they turn it into a film. Honestly,
Yeah.
like,
Hey, there's a lot of potential. Could be great, but I don't
yeah.
think it will be. I really don't. I don't have faith in it, but it does have the greatest actor of all time, Mark Wahlberg. So,
Mark Wahlberg, guys, and Tom
could be
Holland,
wrong. Hell
who's
yeah.
famous and like because he was the spider guy.
He's the Spider Boy. Oh, yeah. Well, that's next
Uh,
week. So thank you, everybody, for listening. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe if you want to see more. As I say, Uncharted is next week. But don't worry, it's not all bad because the week after, it's the Batman. Oh, I can't contain my excitement. I am
oh, dude,
so,
yeah,
so hyped.
Batman's.
It's going to be
Oh, yeah.
amazing. Yeah, hope everyone had an amazing week. If you want to follow us, you can follow us on Twitter or Instagram at Time Film Pod. You can hear thoughts from me on Twitter or see all of our incredible thumbnails on Instagram. And you can email us if you want to get in touch, tell us your thoughts on Uncharted, or just ask us about anything. We will answer it on the podcast if you email us at outsitimefilmpod@gmail.com. Take us out, John.
Thank you for listening. We thoroughly enjoyed about talking about Uncharted, like one of the best game series. I need to play it again. Like it's I have to play it again like someday. Thank you for listening again. Make sure that you're vaccinated, make sure that you wear a mask to the cinema, and yeah, be safe and be good.
Yeah, be safe and be good. Wow, what a wonderful way to end it.
Take what you're given.
Give nothing back.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.